friends, welcome. So in today's video I have the Plump Pig Altered Junk Journal by McNally, and I just wanted to share with you the progress that I've made so far. I know this was a while ago that I did the read aloud flip through of this journal before we altered it. You can go ahead and check that video out as well if you would like to see how it looked beforehand. I added this extra little ribbon. You can put it on the side of the tassel, really cute there when you have it opened, or you can also use it as a closing mechanism around the junk journal. I also have these cute little beads I wanted to share, and buttons I wanted to share with you here. This little tassel that I added. Um, yeah, so many cute little wooden buttons on there. And then I also tried a different type of spine this time. I'm going to show you in the video pretty much how I restored this book a little bit, and how I fixed the vintage papers that are like pretty brittle and what have you. So we're going to take a look inside of this book. And yeah, I'm going to kind of show you how I started off. So I take the pages from the inside and I like to line it with some glue and then the washi tape over those little holes where the pages were originally sewn in. This is a very old book, and so yeah, the pages have aged and they're pretty brittle, and I didn't want to damage them any further, so I'm just trying to keep them nicely intact. Some of the pages were written on, scribbled on. You can see that in the flip through of me reading the book, showing this book a couple weeks ago. I'll go ahead and have it linked here as well if you'd like to take a look at that after this video. But yeah, this page I had to, well, I think one of the pages was already kind of torn, and so I just restored it and just added it to another page with this washi tape, as you can see. So you can definitely do that. Add the pages with washi tape, and even try and like save them right if they're torn or ripped, or from damaging any further. Washi tape does help that. Excuse me. And you can choose whatever kind of washi tape you think matches best, or whatever you have on hand. So you can see here kind of the pages I chose for this. The back page of the book, as you can see, the back part of the book, I just added that little strip of paper kind of to make it a little tuck spot. So here you can see again, I'm just adding some glue on there to adhere this washi tape. You can use like a stick, glue stick, or something a little stronger, just to make sure that washi tape stays on and doesn't start to peel back. And I do it on the front and the back of it, and you can see the holes that are in the paper here. Also, I use a thick enough tape to go over both sides and the holes, and also not to cover the photos up too much. But yeah, I just had this floral washi tape and I thought it went well, so I just put that on there. Wasn't being too picky with what I chose here, but you can see I'm just trying to line it up nice and straight. And then you just trim it off the top as so. So this is just one way to make sure that those pages are nice and strong, and just kind of give it new life before you bind it into the book again. These pages, like I said, are very old, so they become kind of brittle and are easy to tear. So you have to be very fragile with these type of pages and understand that it is a vintage book, right? And you need to be very delicate. So I had a little tear on the bottom there, as you can see, of the book. That was already there. And I'm just trying to glue those fibers back together again, as you can see there. Um, just very light, applying some glue to the fibers in the front and the back, and hoping that they stick together. You can also add maybe a little bit of washi tape there as well, or a little sticker to cover it if you really don't want any more ripping or tearing of the pages. Um, but yeah, I think it's very important to note that when you're altering these books, um, you need to know that they're very, very fragile, and they've been read over and over, I'm sure, by many children and many parents, grandparents, adults, right? Um, and so, yeah, they're not new. I took these pages out of the Charlotte web page. As you can see, there's like 122 on that side and then 57 on that side. So I took different pages from the book with the pictures that I liked, and then just adhered them together with washi tape to make 2 pages in the book. So that's also another idea if you want to add 2 separate pages from a book and put them together. You can just adhere it with washi tape. And so now for this one, I kind of changed it up, and I'm going to use this floral gold washi tape. As you can see here, it's like this metallic gold foil on the washi tape. Yeah, so I thought it looked nice, and I'm just adhering that again to both sides, making sure that it's nice and stuck on there. I also go over it again with the bone folder, kind of make sure that it's nice and down. And then when I fold each paper, I'm folding it with the bone folder to make that crease nice and secured down as well. I just really love this book. I think the pages in the book were so precious. The story I loved so much. Again, if you want to see that read aloud, I have a playlist of all the books that I'm altering, like these classic children's books. Um, yeah, and I kind of wanted to show the progress from like the way it looked before, I fixed it. Some of these books that I've restored, they had like huge holes in them or like major damages, and I kind of found a way to work around these issues and just give them new life and a new beginning. This book specifically was not in the worst shape, but I think there might have been 1 or 2 pages torn out of the book. I think it was 1 page in the front. You can see that in that flip through, like I said. And then the front cover was severely drawn on the picture of the dog and the cat that you see there. They're actually on the front cover of the book, and they were like drawn on with a black crayon. And so I took an eraser and I erased over it and was able to lighten that crayon up. And I thought about covering the cover, maybe with another image or something else, or maybe a pocket or just something else, right? I was going to cover it. But I really love the picture, and I think it gives the book character, and it tells a story of where this book has been and what it's gone through. Yeah, and So a child has scribbled, on the front cover of the book a little bit. Well, not a little bit, quite a bit. Was there, but I was able to cut out a lot of that. I mean, not cut out. Sorry, I'm watching the video with me cutting this washi tape. I was able to erase a lot of it and kind of like mellow it down. And so I think I'll be able to show you that here in this video of what I'm talking about exactly. And if not in this video, then you'll definitely see it in the flip through of this video once it's done, of the flip through of this book once it's completed. I'm not going to do a full flip through of this journal in this video because it's not fully complete. I still need to add like all the tags and all the other little things that I want to add to it. So some ephemera and a couple other things, decorating the book up. So far I have the cover complete, the signatures are in. I created the tassel, the little band that you saw in the beginning. That you can kind of use it on the tassel, or you can close the book with it, with the ribbon. And yeah, just options. So I love giving options. And then after that, I'm going to be decorating the book some more. So I don't get to that part in the book here. I mean, in this video. In this video, I'm just showing you like how I kind of put the signatures together, and I kind of did like that little crisscross. Also, I show you how I'm making the spine of this book. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so I'm kind of measuring out how many pages I have in each signature. I think for this specific book, I put about, I guess I want to say 7 to 10 pages in each signature. I think I wanted to keep it the max 10. I didn't want to fill it up too much. But yeah, I was just kind of filling it out and seeing how big the spine should be with all the pages in there. I do want to leave some space for embellishing and decorating. Yeah, if later down the road you want to embellish it some more, I don't want it to be like so chunky to where it can't close, or it's kind of doing that alligator mouth thing where it's just like blown out. I know a lot of people do like that look, and I even have a book like that is just like so, it's hard to close. I have to like close it tight with the ribbon that I have on my other journal. The problem with that is that it got so full, and it really starts to wear on the cover of the book, the pulling of trying to keep it closed with the ribbon, and it wears on the spine as well because it kind of starts to warp. The book warps and the spine could rip, right? So the spine is kind of like the foundation of your journal or your cover, your spine. And so you really want to make sure that when you're first making the book that you have enough space, and yeah, so to prevent like future like warping of your journal. So that's why I'm just making sure that this spine is going to be big enough for all the pages. And I made 3 signatures, I believe. I don't know if it's 3 or 4. I think I did 4 actually. I originally wanted to do 3, so you saw 3 there. And then I changed it to 4. So you can kind of see that front cover there. You can see the scribbling on the cat's face and on the dog's face. So if you need to zoom in a bit more, if you can't see it, I think you can. If you've seen the flip through, like I said before, you can see how dark it is in that video. It's really dark with the crayon, and so I think I did a good job with making it at least some type of transparent, like you can actually see the dog's face and the cat. But yeah, like I said, I think it gives a character, and I don't want to cover it just because it's such a cute cover. Even though it has the scribbling on the face, I still love this book so much. I adore all of the illustrations and the story and just everything about it. So I was so happy that I was able to restore this book and give it new life. Um, and so now I'm just using this tape here to adhere the uh, the spine. And this is some chipboard I had from packaging material, so recycled chipboard, and it was just the right amount of thickness to go on here. And then I'm also gonna add some cloth to here. So I wrapped this whole entire spine with the tape. I think 2 or 3 times over. So it's pretty secure, very strong on there. Nothing should be coming off. Um, I think I got it really nice and secured. And then I also did add the corners, the metal corners onto the book because this book was kind of fraying on the corners a little bit. So I just made sure that I added some extra glue onto those corners, made them nice and strong again, and then added the gold book corners, as you can see there. And so I added the tape, as you can see, to one side, and I put a very little bit of tape on the other side attaching to the book just because I don't want to cover too much of that print on the cover of the book and on the inside. So I'm trying to make sure that it's covered a very little bit, but enough so that it's not gonna, tear or rip off of there, as you can see. And then I'm gonna also add the fabric over it, so it's gonna be really nice and secured. Um, Adding extra fabric glue and what have you. So, like I said, in this video, I really wanted to emphasize on the spine and just the build of this book. You know how I like to restore the journals or the books. The vintage books, and yeah, just give it new life. And then I just wanted to share with you also how I kind of did that crisscross spine, the signatures. I'm not sure exactly if there's a name for it, or if I'm even doing it the way it's supposed to be done. I mean, I don't know, I'm just playing around with it. I didn't watch any like videos or anything on really how to do it. So you can see there now I kind of made the 4 signatures. I split up those pages and broke them, into 4 signatures. Before, I think I had 3, but I wanted to make sure that the signatures weren't so thick. You don't want more really than 10 I normally like to keep it from like 7 pages in a signature. The most would be 10, and that really depends on how thick the pages are in the book, right? So if you have a lot of thin papers, then the more papers I guess you can add to it. I did have a lot of little thinner paper pages in the book, as well as a mixture of scrapbook paper that were a bit thicker. So I'm just going over the face again with the eraser, just to see if I can get anything else off. This is a different kind of eraser I thought I'd try from what I did before. I also don't want to damage the face or the paper anymore, so I'm not doing it too hard. Yeah, if you know of any other techniques on how to remove crayon or any kind of marks like this on a paper, I don't know if there's any other tricks that you can do. But yeah, just let me know. Oh my goodness, I got this little Jane Davenport little brush there, so cute. I had to buy that the other day, like when I thought it was adorable, and it just kind of like helps with the removing of, brushing off those type of like extra little eraser bits. So I looked at the cover and it had like some dirt there. Normally when I get these journals, either from a thrift store, they're mostly, of course, they're secondhand, right? And they're very grimy and like dirty sometimes. And so the first thing I always do anytime I bring anything home from thrift, I always wipe it down with a Clorox wipe, make sure I sanitize everything. These books specifically, you do not want to wet so much, so you want to make sure that the cloth is very dry. And so that specific mark that I had showed you before on the cover was kind of like chunky, and it wouldn't be removed with the wipe. You get most of the surface dirt off, but that actually needed to be a little bit scraped off. So I kind of scraped whatever little junk was on there, and most of it came off. So I was happy with that. So now after I did all that, I'm gonna go ahead and seal this book with Mod Podge. This is matte Mod Podge all over the front. The corners, I already glued the corners underneath. Normally, I would do this before putting the book corners on, but I already did add that. So yeah, if you're doing this, you may want to put all the Mod Podge beforehand. I did put glue already on those corners. So yeah, I'm just adding, a layer of Mod Podge in the front and the back cover of the book. Again, I already wiped these down several times, made sure all of the gunk and everything was off of the book. So you definitely want to do that before you seal the book again, right? You don't want to seal in any dirt or junk on top of the book. So try to get it as clean as possible. And then, I just seal it with the Mod Podge. And again, this is matte Mod Podge. I'll go ahead and have like everything linked below that I use here in the description box if I can. Yeah, if you're looking for any of those products, you can go ahead and check the description box below. Everything should be listed there. And so I'm using this fabric glue to glue on. Oh, so I actually forgot to add the tape to the middle here, so you're gonna see me add that, I believe. Yeah, so I think I forgot to add the tape to the middle, and I'm just adding that now. So I just added some glue there, and now I'm just re-adding the tape to the center as well, so that it's nice and smooth and even, and you don't feel any like bumps there as well. And so yeah, I'm just making sure that that evens out and it's nicely put on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the fabric again using that Fabri-Tac glue. And you can use Fabri-Tac or any kind of glue like that. You can also, I've seen people use maybe a glue gun. It might be a little thick and chunky. You may have to layer that lightly. I'm not sure how that would work. But yeah. So you can see here, I'm just kind of smoothing this out. You have to have a lot of patience with this part because the fabric does take a little bit more time to adhere. So I do sit down, let it wait out. I'm just, here probably watching a little bit of TV while I'm doing this as well, which is a great way to, multitask, I guess, or pass time, binge something that you've been wanting to watch while crafting. And yeah, I just let it sit there and dry, and I put a couple things on top to make sure that it stays nicely put. And I also like to add the glue, spread out the glue with like a brush to make sure that it's not very chunky so you don't get big like spots everywhere. And so now I'm just adding this pink trim to the edges of it to give it like a nice seal, right, a nice finished edge there. Yeah, so when you're cutting this, don't worry about, the cut being too perfect. As you can see, I didn't cut the fabric very nicely. Actually, I think I found this fabric at the thrift and it was already cut up like this. I don't think I did too much. I remember just grabbing this from like a scraps my fabric, and yeah, it was already like the perfect size, so I didn't cut it down to size or anything except for like trim it because it was too long, but that was about it. And then I just had this trim there that I thought went nicely, and that just kind of helps seal the edges nicely, gives it a nice finish, so you're not seeing like that raw edge. If you like the raw edge look, you can always leave it like that as well. I kind of like to seal it so it gives it like a really nice finish as such. And yeah, I noticed that this fabric I found, it matched just perfect with the cover, the color of the cover, right? So we have those pinks, those light blues, a little darker blue. There's even like the yellow and the florals in that pattern as well. So I don't know, like it was just perfect for this book. It really was, with all the texture and the pattern in it. I just absolutely loved it, and I was so happy that I had that. And I've been noticing, like, oh my goodness, thrifting, like sometimes you find things in the thrift and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, honestly. I just find things, I'm like, oh, I like this, I like this print. And then lately it's just been working out that the fabrics I find, or like these different things that I found at thrift, like go perfectly with the projects. Like I recently did that Alice in Wonderland um junk journal as well. If you've seen it, I'm not sure, but I'll go ahead and link that here as well. If you're interested in checking that one out, that one was really fun. I did the book from start to finish, from scratch, and it's like on a whole playlist, so you can go ahead and check that out as well if you're interested. But yeah, I did the cover. I did like a separate cover for it, like a cloth cover for the book. And that cloth I actually found at the thrift, and I swear it was like the perfect size. Like I didn't even cut it. It was like a little, cut piece of fabric already like that, and I thrifted it, and again, it was like the perfect size for that perfect book. Like it just was. I love when that happens. But yeah, I ended up leaving my camera on super long here, and I didn't notice I was watching this documentary. It was like a surfing documentary, so I'm really into that stuff. But yeah, and I didn't realize that the camera was playing like this whole time. So yeah, that happens, and then I had to delete all the footage. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and break from that. As you can see, I just put the tube there of glue and just holding it down. You can put any kind of like weight, a book or anything like on top, as long as the glue is not going to attach to it, right? Like this is plastic here. um yeah, and then you also want to just make sure that you have enough glue on there. um so you just want to keep on checking and making sure that the glue, I had to apply several layers of this glue. Maybe for the trim, you may want to use something like a hot glue gun. That might have worked and like not had waited so long. Like I said, I was just watching a documentary there, so it didn't bother me too much, but I did have to go back and forth and add some glue on there to different parts of it. So I did want to note that. Also, so this is the way I kind of uh make a template for the signatures. I've also showed this in that playlist that I mentioned with the Alice in Wonderland book, but you can make your template for these books in any which way. So when I was making this specific tight. I didn't know what I was gonna do with this. It just came to mind like when I was looking at the spine. I was like, oh, I want to kind of crisscross. Um, I want to crisscross these little, what do you call it, with the thread, or, the wax thread in the signature. And I just decided to do that, like, spur of the moment, and I am not sure if this is the correct way of doing it, but it worked for me. So I just went and folded in the paper in half, right? So you go ahead and measure the length of it, then you fold that paper in half to get the middle, and then from there you fold the two ends inwards to make three different spots, as you can see there, that I am outlining there. And that's where the holes will meet. And you can do also a 5 stitch, like a 5 hole, which may work nicely as well. For some reason I do like the 3. It just works really nicely for me. I like to put the little hole on the top of the signature, of the spine, to add like the little dangle or anything else. So I like that extra space up there. And yeah, I don't know. This is just a really easy way of doing it. And so I realized, I think that I only had, what was I doing here? I only had 3 and I needed 4, so I was just redoing that over again. But I think if you want to do the crisscross, you may want to add like 1 extra line of holes there, just to have that extra space and not have to overlap. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that correctly. Again, this was very spur of the moment, so I'm just kind of showing you here how I did it. I may end up having to do another video on this if anyone's really interested on how to do the crisscrossy spine look. But yeah, I'm holding that down with a clip, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and use this crocodile, it's the larger one, to go ahead and put holes in all of these areas, as you see here. So I did 4. Like I said, you may want to do 5 if you want to do I don't know if there's gonna be just like too much space there if I do 5. There might be. I would have to try that again and maybe do it off camera. I don't know. Some reason I always try new things while I'm filming, and I don't know if that's the best idea, because yeah. Especially if I'm doing a tutorial on it, right? Like, I'm learning as I go. But I may want to do that off camera first and then do the tutorial on it. But yeah, I kind of was just showing you guys, as I'm going along, what I was doing here for this specific journal, since I already was recording, how to do this. I mean, you can of course try these things out first, maybe on like a mock book or something like that. Like, have a little mock journal that you can try the signatures out. I actually am gonna play around with that. That actually sounds pretty fun to do. I just thought about that now, like doing like a little mock journal and like playing around with different ways of doing the stitches, and like kind of like crisscross it different ways. I think that'll be really a neat idea, and trying to figure out different ways of doing it. But yeah, I really like that cross look, and I thought it looked so cool here, and it just came to mind, like, I wanted the 2 end sides to be straight and then the middle to cross. And so you're gonna see that here in a little bit. Just went in, like you see, with the hole punch there and made all those holes, and now I'm gonna add these eyelets. I found these little yellow eyelets and I thought they looked cute. I thought it matched with the cover of the book and all the yellow details here. And so that's how it came out. Just went and used the same hole punch, the eyelet, and then I added this gold one to the top ring there. I'm gonna also add a gold ring to it with the tassel. So yeah, I like the way this is coming out so far, and I hope you're enjoying following along here as well. It came out nice and smooth on the other side too, not too like ragged, edgy feeling. So I did want to note that because sometimes they do kind of like come out really sharp, and I don't like when that happens. So I was just testing it out, feeling it and making sure that it was nice and smooth. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and add the signatures. And this kind of reminded me of like adding like your shoelace to a brand new pair of sneakers. So I remember back when I was in high school, or like even junior high school, like that was like a really big thing. I don't know if it's a thing now, but like everyone used to have like these wacky like shoelace style, like you would like everyone would do their shoelace in a different style and it looked so cool. Like you would come up with like different ways of like tying your shoelace up, and this kind of reminded me of that. Like I was trying a new way of um putting my signature in with like the crisscross. So it's kind of like that, very similar to putting your shoelace in. And sometimes you want to do like that cross style, like X's, like, or you want your laces to kind of go across and over like straight, and then like some kids would even like pull them out, like you'll have like the laces just like dangling down. Like there's so many different styles that we would try out, and so it was really fun. It just kind of brought me back to like those times where we used to play. I don't know if people still do that with their laces, like fashion up your laces or whatnot. Like I haven't been following any of the trends, but I know like in high school I was always like up on those type of trends and like fashion. And like honestly, like the school that I went to was like, I honestly felt like it was walking down like the runway. Like everyone was so up on fashion. Like I had to make sure like my fashion game was up there. Like every day I had to make sure like I was putting on something nice, and like also I didn't like to repeat outfits either. So I would always like, I'm just rambling on now, but I would always kind of like mix up what I had. Like I didn't have much, but with what I did have, I really did make it work. And fashion was just a really, really big thing in high school. And I just remember that always being a thing, like, what I was gonna wear in the morning, and always like making sure it was like, I don't know, top notch. But yeah, that was just my high school. So I don't know. I know like afterwards I went to a different high school, and it wasn't, the culture there was like completely different. Like I don't remember any of that type of stuff. Like it was just really lighthearted and just having fun, living life. But um yeah, the other school I went to was very like superficial and materialistic, and people kind of like looking at what you wore and how you dressed and stuff like that. So it was a really big thing. Anyway, I don't even know how I rambled onto that. Like the whole sneaker thing. But like sneakers were really a big thing growing up too. Like if you didn't have like nice sneakers, like like that also was telling of like, I don't know, I guess like, I don't know, your social class, or like, I don't know. It was a whole thing, but that's just rambling on to like some other stuff there. So whew, where are we? Okay, so I added that first signature, and I just did that one plain, like, the straight, go in through the middle, then go back out through the top, and again. And if you want a more detailed look at this, again, I did a whole video on this signature stuff before, so that'll be a lot more detailed and maybe better explain it. But now, so this middle part is kind of where, oh wait, I'm still on the first. Is this the first signature? Okay, I think I was just laying it out. So yeah, this is just the first signature. This line is gonna be straight, and then the second signature is kind of where I want to do that crisscross. So yeah, so here we're going in through the middle, then back out, around through the top, and then all the way to the bottom hole there, and then back through the middle. and that's where we close the signature. Again, I explained this whole thing in another video in more detail, maybe a little better. I'll go ahead and link that playlist below. That was the Alice in Wonderland theme junk journal, from scratch to finish, like start to finish. So yeah, so we just pull that out. Then I also like to add, I don't know what happened here. I think I ended up cutting the string like really short because I don't know, what did I do? I don't remember. But anyways, I add some tape there to make sure that the signature is nicely put. Alright, so anyways, I guess it just like jumped over. I'm not sure what happened, but you can see there I'm explaining like how I crossed it over. So I just did a crossover into the other signature, you can see from the top to the bottom. You can see the inside here, how it looks. And yeah, this is very simple. So I'm just taking that bottom one over to that hole, crossing it over. And that's pretty much what I did with the top. Very, very simple. If you play around with these, you'll, I guess, figure out different things and how it works. This was a little tricky for me when I went back into the other middle hole, which was why I was saying maybe if I made an extra one. But I kind of just went around that signature since it was a 3-hole. I had space to go around it on the top and the bottom. Not sure if that is even making any sense, but when you're doing it, it'll make a lot of sense. So if you're actually crafting along with me instead of just like watching, like sometimes I know, like for me, like I need to be doing it as well. That's just the way I learn. Like I like to be hands on instead of just like visual. Like of course I like the visual and hands on, like it's just like perfect. If you've seen someone do it and then you're actually doing it yourself, makes a big difference. So yeah, I just thought of this as like tying your shoelace and doing that crisscross with the shoelace, or even maybe a corset or anything like that, right? So it's just a simple crisscross. And sometimes I think we just stay in a box and we continue to do things that are comfortable to us. And this day I decided not to do that. I decided to kind of try something new. And I think that's what it's all about, having fun, like crafting and creating. Like sometimes it's good to try something new and get a little bit out of your comfort zone and see how it works out. If it does mess up, like I think I messed up maybe on that first signature. Oh, what happened was, I do remember now. Okay, I added the wrong signature to the front. I wanted a different paper stack, so make sure that you have your signatures all laid out, like where you want it placed in order, because I think that's what happened. I ended up putting the wrong one, so I had to take that whole signature out, which is okay because I just removed the tape and then just used the needle to kind of unthread that. I think I even closed it, I knotted it up, so that's why I kind of jumped the video. So again, this isn't the best tutorial on here. I just wanted to still share this with you so that you can see exactly kind of how I did it and get like a gist of it, and then also just me explaining to you like where I went wrong, and like hopefully this is helpful. This is always my intention, to help inspire your next project, or even a current project, right? So yeah, I just hope that this is helpful in some way or form. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, constructive criticism, I guess, is always good. But of course, so is the way you say things, right? It makes a difference. There's no reason to be cruel here. We're all learning together. So yeah, you can see how I kind of, I think, is this the last one? No, it looks like I have another signature there. Let's see. I did end up having to overlap one of the stitches. And that's again why I was saying, like, maybe if I did a fifth one, I would have to try it out. or maybe even watch, another YouTube video. I'm sure someone out there has done this and done it better than I did. Of course, like I said, I was just playing around with the fact of like how that would look, and I was just doing this, first time trying it out. Never watched any other video on this. But yeah, lots of fun. I think that's how we learn, is just, trying it out, trying out new things, and yeah, going from there, seeing what works and what doesn't work for us. You can see the one line is kind of overlapped there. It doesn't look bad. I love the way that actually came out. On the inside, you kind of do see where it kind of crosses over, so I'm going to kind of show you that. This is pretty much how the pages came out. You can see my mess there all around me. I'm like trying to push it out of the way, and such a mess when you make these books. Like, you have to take everything out. Anywho, so I'm going to go ahead and close those pockets in as well. And yeah, you can see pretty much how everything came out very nicely put. I also like to go through each page and make sure that like you can flatten it and open it up nicely, so when you're journaling it lays nice and flat. I really like that. So yeah, this is kind of like a pre-flip through, I guess you can say, of the book. I'm gonna do another one, I think. I also had Yip and Yap as well that I read that day in the original video when I showed this book. So I'm also working on this book plus another Rand McNally book, Yip and Yap. So cute with the two little doggies in the front cover. I've already done the cover on that. I gathered the papers finally for that as well. I just need to go ahead and sew in those signatures and then do the same thing, add all the tags and decorations and whatnot. So yeah, you can kind of see there I was showing like where the string was in the middle, as you can see, of those signatures. It's not really a big deal. If you don't like it, you can always add some lace. I was thinking about adding lace in between there, just to decorate it up somewhere as well, and then it kind of like covers that as well if you don't want to see the strings there in the middle. But I just absolutely love the way this came out. This was something very new to me. Remember to, push yourself and try something new from time to time. I know like we normally just keep going and making these books sometimes, just the way we like it, right? Like sometimes, like when I go to a restaurant, like I always pick the same meal because I know like it's gonna be good, but then from time to time when I'm not that hungry, I'll go ahead and try something new, right? Like try a new meal, do something fun. So here I'm just showing you kind of the tags. I'm making some tags here on the Big Shot. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be doing a full flip through on this video hopefully soon. I mean, a full flip through on this book hopefully soon. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because Paige just walked in. But yeah, and I'll do one with the Yip and Yap as well. I hope to see you soon, and yeah, take care everyone.